What's up, summoners? King Blair here. With there being so much stuff in Epic 7, it can sometimes be overwhelming to try to navigate to all the different things, especially if you don't have the right resources at your disposal. So what we're going to be going over today is all the resources that you have that can help you both make the process a lot easier and overall just help you be a better player overall. So the way we're going to do that is first we're going to talk about the actual in-game resources that you have that not a lot of people realize are there and are really helpful. And the second thing is going to be outside resources that you can use to both be a better player, learn a lot about stuff about the game, and just have a better experience overall, making everything a lot easier. So if you like the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and join the Discord server. Link that in the description. Without further ado, let's get right into it, starting with the resources that you actually have in-game. Smiley does a pretty good job at trying their best to provide some guides for you guys, so you're able to kind of navigate through some of this stuff, particularly the catalyst aspect of it. So the big thing is going to be, let's look at the catalyst one. This one I actually use a lot, right? So for example, for this, I'm not really too sure where I can find this, but if you click on the catalyst journal, it will actually take you and show you where to find the things. You can just click the episode and it will tell you, for example, episode 1, I can click the Blazing Soul catalyst. I can pick chapter 1 Britannia, and it'll tell me where it is, right? So for example here, episode 1, I can see in 4.9 I am able to get it, right? So that one is pretty cool. In Sidonia, there's none, right? And I can go that. It's a lot quicker to do this rather than go through all the adventure stages and have to do that manually. You can just look here and you'll be able to find that. You can also just look at the catalyst if you're just having extra time and you want to farm. You can see all the units that use certain catalysts. And I honestly think this is really helpful to decide if, like, oh, I have extra time for farming, let me see what some of the characters can do, right? So this is actually going to be really helpful. I know it's small, it's nothing crazy, but it does go a long way. The other one is actually going to be also kind of the usage data. So this will actually help you decide on different artifacts for different heroes to decide what you want to do. So for example, for this one, I can look at this artifact, I can click on the usage statistics, and right away it will tell me the characters that often use Sigurd Scythe. I don't know if you knew this, but it helps a lot. And you can see here, okay, Emoken uses it a lot. Maybe it's really good. Ravi, man, a lot of people are using Sigurd Scythe on Ravi. And you can even go in deeper and be like, okay, let's say you don't have Sigurd Scythe, what else can I use for Ravi? And you can go here, okay, that's really cool. There's a lot of really cool artifacts that I can also try out on my units, right? So I think this is really cool, and you're able to just kind of scroll through all the different units and check out all the different artifacts, see the usage statistics, and this way it can also help you decide on artifacts. That's a question I get a lot, is what artifact do I use on X hero? And there is that information out there for you. And the main way I look at it is through the usage statistics. When you click on the artifact, you can kind of scroll down and look for the artifact if you don't know really where to use a certain artifact. And then you can go through and look at the specific hero. So that's another thing that is in game, right? All this stuff is in game that you guys are always asking me, what artifact, what artifact, what artifact? Well, people already kind of figured that out, and you can just look at the statistics data. So that's really helpful. And then last, but definitely not least, another in-game resource that you actually really have that can help you a lot is, for example, let's say you are stuck on an Abyss stage, and you're like, man, all these YouTubers, I don't understand anything. I don't know why, I don't have X unit, I don't know how to use this. One thing you can do is actually go through and see the units that people are using and the ones that you're able that are winning. So for example, I'm in Abyss stage 100, I haven't cleared it, and I'm like, okay, I see Ross pretty much all the time. Everyone uses Ross. I probably need a Ross to try to clear this stage, right? And Kitty and Terranor Guard and Acades. And then you can go to the YouTube video and see how they're using these heroes. But you can see all the different options that are available to you that other people are using. And that way it will give you a good idea on, hey, that's pretty cool. I can clear X stage. That's a good unit for the stage. And you can do this for all the different stages, and it'll give you ideas for all the different heroes that you can do. And these are people that have been successful, right? So that's really cool, right? So, and this is for everything, right? It's not just Abyss that has this. You also have this feature in things like Wyvern Hunt, where you can check and see what they are. As you can see here, the top 3 are often used in combination, right? So Wyvern, if you're struggling with Wyvern, boom, Sigurd, a really good unit. And I would recommend this unit as well. General Purgus, amazing for tanking, right? It's the most popular one. Caesar Bellona, same thing, Furious. And then you can see what are some other options, some other free-to-play options for both DPSs and for supports. So this is the type of stuff that it's out there, right? and it can help you a lot. Of course, there's still the guides and the YouTube videos and all that good stuff, but that is a really good resource to start with, especially if you're a new game player, and it's there for you in order to use. But now let's go over some of the things that are outside of the game that can really help you try to do a lot of other stuff and a lot of better resources. So one website I'm going to recommend, and the guy's really cool and they keep updating it, is going to be the Epic 7 website. I will be linking all of these in the descriptions if you want to go check them out yourself. But for this big one, it just has a lot of good stuff. It has events, and they try to update it frequently, and they're starting to try to do unit analysis. But the big one is there's a lot of tools here, and you can kind of play around with some of them. I'm going to highlight a couple of them that I think are going to be really, really cool. So one of them is going to be the damage calculator. A lot of times people are like, can I use this unit in a cleave, right? So for example, the new Ilnov, here, if you go to Epic 7 damage calculator, you can try all the different artifacts in the planet. You can also like give them the stats that you think you're going to be using for your Ilnov, and you can see also as well what the opponent may be, right? Like if they're earth or something, if you have attack buff, you can see your artifact, you can see the target, you can make it like, okay, let's say they have Aureus, right? And Adamant Shield, boom, it'll do that all for you. And you can see how much damage your Ilnov is doing, right? So damage calculator is something I do often use when I want to check something, or if I'm having discussions with my friends, I'm able to check some damages and check different aspects of the damage using this damage calculator. Again, it's a really nice resource to try to check how much damage your unit's going to be doing, try to decide, okay, do I need more critical hit damage? Or if you're thinking, maybe I want to have more health, or maybe you're like, how much damage would I lose if I try to do this much health but drop the critical hit damage to 150? You can try all that stuff. So that's one of the ones I wanted to highlight. The other one is going to be one that I personally haven't tried, but a lot of people do like to use. If you're someone that hates gearing, the Fribbles Gear Optimizer, you can also find it through here in the Fribbles Gear Optimizer. Essentially what this does is you download this package and you can input all your gear that you have, and it will give you all the possible combinations with the gear that you own in your account for a certain unit. This is really good if you're trying to optimize a certain unit. You can come in here, you pick your unit, you have your gear in there, and you can put all the different gear that you have, and you can see all the different units that you can build and try to put guidelines that you want for that unit. So for example, if you want a Montmorency that has 150 FRES, it will try to find that with the gear that you have, and it'll let you know this is how close you can get to your desired stats. This is amazing for gear optimizing. It's something that I honestly need to do because it's the best way to build really strong units really easily. The manual way still works, but this is really nice, really fast. It does have some startup. It's something that I may show in a different video, but just know that it's something that if you follow this guide and you're able to download it, it's a really good way that you can see like, hey, I want to have these stats, right? And you can kind of check, and you can see it can also tell you how your gear will look post reforge, right? So it really helps you visualize everything that you can have with your unit with the current gear that you have. This will make it so you're not wasting as much gear, right? And it can even show you some pieces of gear that you may have thought are bad and are not really using, and it'll maybe optimize it for you and you'll be able to use that. This is probably one of the best ways that you can really build really strong units. Again, I personally don't use it, but I know a lot of people that love this software and use it all the freaking time. So I highly recommend it if you're someone that hates gearing and just wants a different way to kind of like have something really easy, just tell you what you're trying to look for, right? What pieces you're trying to look for. Then there's some other stuff that is also included there that, for example, has some other stuff like all the different skills that units can have. You can see all the different multipliers, so how much through the HP. This is just more for fun if you've ever been interesting. There's also some other ones. This one I found it on Google that I will link this one individually because it's not on the Epic 7 website. But there's also the campfire simulator, right? For raid. One of the biggest things is like, man, I want to try to clear raid. So for example, if you have Montmorency, right? Or let's use Tamarine. And you have Tamarine, you can pick your Tamarine, you're like, I really want to use Tamarine, you can lock in your team, and then you can start putting all your other units. It's like, okay, Charles, and then you can just kind of go through all the different heroes, and what it will do is it'll tell you the best combination for the friendship, and it gives you a variety of combinations, and you can lock certain units. So for example, I locked the Tama, so she'll always be included, and it'll show me the best combination that I can have for exploring raid that gives me the highest score. This is really nice, and it really does help a lot. And I use this very often when I was building my raid teams and I was deciding what units to build and what units I wanted to use. So again, really cool resource for raid that can help you do a lot of the stuff. And if you guys don't know what raid is this part right here, Labyrinth, and that essentially gives you the campfire talks that will help you progress through the game. So if I go here, you can go and raid, and that's how you'll get the conversations that you're going to be using for raid, right? So really, really spicy, really, really good. I highly, highly recommend it. They also have some other stuff like artifact list, material list that you can use, and it says it has some guides. You can kind of try to check it out. I don't know how updated this is, but hey, you never know. I have not checked this out, but it may be a little bit outdated. Yeah, it doesn't really have that much stuff, right? So it doesn't really have that much stuff. So, but the big one, the camping simulator, is the one that I do often use, and I will include it later on in the description of the video. Then there's going to be some of the other stuff, and you can see I legit just looked camping simulator up, and that's the first one that pops up, right? Then there's going to be things like Discord. So Discords are a really good way, especially Epic 7 Discords that often do have a lot of help. And there's a lot of them. You can also join the Epic 7 main Discord. I am sure that they have a lot of really helpful people. They have a lot of stuff that you can do, that you can check for help, maybe in the PvP Coliseum. They sometimes have some really cool stuff. Right, so there's a lot of stuff in the official Discord. I will also include this if you want to be in there. There's usually some helpful people, although I will advise you not to always trust what everyone tells you. And that's going to be a big one. Although there's a lot of really good resources on Discord, if you ask a question, you may not get a really good answer. So make sure that what they're saying, try to think critically of what people are telling you and try to check with different sources. So that's what I will warn about social websites, particularly something like Discord, is that if you go in here, particularly here, some people will say they're really good at the game, have nothing, they don't have nothing to show for it and could give you bad advice. Particularly for our Epic 7 Discord, the one that I have made, there's a lot of really good players in here, but I also have a lot of stuff pinned in the unit review and in the help channel to kind of help you have some different stuff. Some of the things that I have here, for example, is the FRES and the effectiveness, kind of understanding that chart, kind of saying, okay, if the enemy has 0 FRES and I have 0 effectiveness, I have an 85% chance to land my debuff. And I'll kind of go over a chart and you can see, okay, how much would I need for specific units? So that's really cool. There's some other stuff too that can help you in the help channel that has some other websites that might be helpful for you. So things like this chart for sample speed tiers that we talked about in a different video as well. There's also catalyst farming locations that can be really useful. The Epic 7 damage calculator, the Wyvern guide that someone made in the Discord or somewhere else, and they shared it and we have it pinned there, and it is honestly a really solid guide. It does not have a one-shot team, but it is a very good holistic guide that can help you a lot, right? So a lot of really good stuff. And I know Wyvern's the one that a lot of early game players do struggle with. We also have things for gear, kind of showing you what you get from the main stats and the substats. And we have kind of this one that's a little bit outdated. And of course, as always, we have top unit builds. So here people post their best units. You can search in the search bar, try to look for specific units. We do have the titles, people post their units, and you can kind of scroll through and see some units. If you're looking for specific units, they might be in here in the particular one. So in the Soul Weavers, we have a ton of Soul Weavers and a ton of sample builds for Soul Weavers that you can check out, and hopefully that'll be nice. If you don't see one here, ask someone in the Discord. They probably will have that unit that you're trying to build built. There's a lot of different people, so that's one of the Discords that you can use as well. So again, there's a lot of really good stuff. And then of course the YouTube channel. I personally have a playlist that every guide that I have made is here in the Epic 7 guides, and I try to keep this one updated. I will be adding this video to this one as well, and just watching this will help you kind of see all the stuff that there is out there. But there's a lot. I often look up abyss stages in particular, and I will find really good guides, and there's a million guides for certain abyss stages that I can watch and I can try to emulate and get clear abyss stages. For Wyvern, there is 100 of Wyvern guides that are really, really solid. And you have to make sure that's Epic 7, right? Make sure it's actually getting the stuff. And there's a lot of really good ones, right? But make sure that it's updated. I know a really good one is going to be Grass Angel. He makes a lot of really good PvE guides. So if you're someone that is looking for PvE guides, Grass Angel, I would highly recommend. This is a really holistic view of Wyvern. But there's a lot of other people out there that if you don't really want to watch something like this, although I would recommend it. For PvP, there's a lot of PvP channels. Of course, I try to do a lot of PvP, and I try to upload a lot of PvP guides and a lot of PvP content, particularly in the streams. So that's another one that's really good. But there's other ones that I would also, that they're out there that are good for PvP guides. I don't really know a lot that do guides that don't just do gameplay though. So I do try to do guides, but I try to keep them updated. So if you message me in the suggestion box in the Discord, if there's something that you feel is not out there, that you feel that there could be more about, there's a suggestion tab that you can come here in the Discord in the updates. You can go here, the suggestions. You can at me and ask me, hey, can you talk about this? And I do write these down, and I do check this often, and I make sure that it has some stuff that I could potentially try to see. But that is going to be all the resources that are available for you. I know that was a lot. Hopefully this helps you understand a lot better. Know that there's a lot of stuff out there to try to help you, and you can become a better player with all the stuff that's out there. But that is all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Peace.